Hello, and welcome to another B&T unboxing video. Today we're going to be taking a look at my super computer. A little play on words. This is a Super Nintendo Jr. case that I have modified extensively to become a computer. The original idea when I bought this was to repair the SNES board that was inside and put that into a desktop computer and have like a mockery of things. However, I never actually got there. The board was incredibly dirty and very nasty. Before we get into the system that I've built, just do a quick little show of the board. Here's the board. I went through and thoroughly cleaned it off. There was sludge and slime everywhere. Amazingly enough, no, you can't really see it. But none of the capacitors were bad. The power switch, which would go right here that you don't see, completely rusted off. So the board itself may actually still be in good shape. I just haven't gotten around to repairing that. And as you can see, all the screws on the bottom are rusted. So that's the condition this all was in when I first got it. It looked like it had sat in, honestly, a spittoon for 10 years or something. It was just incredibly nasty. So the system went through a complete and thorough scrub down. And so what we have in front of us is the result. Everything's been essentially custom made to fit, and I'll do a quick spin around as best I can, and then I'll go into all the details of what I built. So here we go. And you can probably see in the pictures that the controller ports aren't lined up right now. The controller ports are just dummies. I took some controller SNES to USB adapters, found off Amazon, cut them off, filled them up with glue to hold them together, and tried to put them as mock controller ports. Unfortunately, the glue didn't really separate, and I can't put real controller ports in like I want to because there's no space. From the front of this to the front of the RAM slots is approximately 1/4 to 3/4 inch. I think it's about 1/4 inch. And the minimum length of the adapter was about an inch, inch and a quarter. So it wasn't going to work. All right, so if we take the lid off, be very gentle. I'm just going to pull these off. Pull the lid off, and here's the inside. I have a couple of switches. The power and reset button actually do what they're supposed to do. They reset and power on. And then I have power and hard drive lights plugged into the player indicators on the lid. Unfortunately, one of them, I think I got the wires mixed up, so it doesn't actually power on, but the other one does, so the power light does come on. The hard drive active light does not. I just have the drive sitting right here on top. There's no other place for it. You can see all the interior, every post, everything had to be grinded down. I went ahead and glued the lid on tight to keep the outside aesthetic looking good. But everything, if it was above a certain level, had to be grinded off. Fortunately, the drive itself actually fits nicely in this little pocket over here. So with the lid on, you really can't tell it's not a Super Nintendo Jr. Other than the fact it does sit a little higher, and I'll get to that in a minute. So we'll just set this back on. I'm not removing the board as it is a little bit complicated to get out, but it's there. Alright, on the side, we'll take a look at this. You can see some damage right here. The Dremel got a little bit too close to the edge and nicked the corner, but pretty much all plastic on the inside had to be removed, including several layers of the inner plastic frame just to get the board to fit. The board to fit and to get the connectors to fit. Let me see if I can get this lifted up. As you can see, there's a little bit of a gap on this side for the motherboard, and it was needed so that the power supply could be plugged up into it. The other side, let's spin it around real fast, it's actually smashed against the edge, and fortunately the lid actually raises up in the corners, so this is still covered up as it is right here. So it's not 100% perfect, but again, it looks good. We have the power supply jack off in the corner right here. I actually had to take the connector apart to get it to fit because of clearance issues, and then I had to pretty much just grind everything out of the back to get the entire I/O to fit. It would have been better if I just used a ultra small form factor board instead of an ITX, but I used an ITX. So this is a standard ITX motherboard. The only big difference is that this one has the RAM slots up front instead of on the side, and the 24-pin power connector on the side. Other than that, it's standard, and all that stuff is standard. Just specific boards I had to look for. If we flip it over, we can see I have a hole cut out for the CPU fan. The CPU fan, I believe I want to say 12 millimeters tall. Fan and heatsink. And then I have a fan grill over that. Put some feet on it to give it raise it up so that there could be some airflow. And then cut a massive hole off the side for the Pico power supply. Now the Pico power supply, it's a DC to DC power supply, so you can have your 12 volt DC power brick plug in here. This will convert to your the different rails, the 12, the 5.5, and the 3.3 rail for the computer. Interesting enough, the first board I had, this right here was facing, this side was facing out, so I had to desolder everything and put on this side. And then I got that board was not working correctly, so I had to get a new board. And this one, complete opposite. The power connector's in the same spot, but the plug itself was reversed, so I had to desolder everything again, then resolder again on the original side. So that was a little bit of a annoyance, but as you can see, right here, the plastic is normally this thick, and I had to grind it down to almost a hairline thickness to get the board to fit, and it's rubbing, but it closes. But like I said, the power switch works. You get the power button. They're actually power switches, or they're switches from a PC case I came across that was being scrapped out. Spring-loaded buttons. It worked perfectly for this situation. As the stickers on the front indicate, it does have an i5 in it, though not of the ones the stickers are indicating. This is packing a 2nd gen i5 2400S, running around I think 2.4, 2.5 gigahertz. It has 16 gigs of RAM and a 360 gig SSD. The drive size possibly could have been upgraded, but I have a 9 terabyte NAS, so storage really isn't necessary to be massively large on this little guy. For all you who think you have to have a massive gaming rig to edit video, all my videos for the past year and a half have been edited on this computer. And it's running integrated graphics. I would like to create a kind of external, not external, graphics GPU to go along with this system. All this is my little supercomputer. Hope you enjoyed it. Quick little walkthrough of my supercomputer. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Good night.